to do it. Okay, بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. We're continuing off with advanced Nahu from the Bayina Arabic course. But before we continue off with Ism Mawsool and its Silah, that's our next topic. Last week we had done compound Ism, which is also known as Masdar Mu'awwal. Okay. There's one slight pending issue that I wanted us to discuss before we move on to Ism Mawsool. So remember the reason why I told you why I'm teaching you these different terms and why we are learning all the different Ism Mawsools, Masdar Mu'awwal and things like that, is because when we're looking at tafsir, we can actually be able to understand. So somebody was looking at some ayat and then they found an ayah and they sent it to me and they were like, I can't see the Masdar Mu'awwal, what's happening here? I don't remember what ayah they were looking at, but it was something to do with this verb يحسب. So I'm just going to look for one يحسب here and we can take a look. Okay, so there's أنما. Okay, so there's this أنما here. It's not the best example, but okay, we can take this one. This one is shorter. وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. I think this is going to be straightforward. So if you go to Ulum, you go to Al-I'rab Al-Muyassar, the easy I'rab. So we're still in Masdar Mu'awwal before we shift to Ism Mawsool. So you have الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون, that's our فعل, أنهم يحسنون صنعا. So أنهم, this is our Masdar Mu'awwal like we mentioned last time. So let's see what the tafsir says. So we'll start from here because before you can read on your own. يحسبون خبر وأن وما في حيزها سدت مسد. This is the term that somebody was like, okay, now what's happening here? سدت مسد مفعولي يحسبون. There's no mention of Masdar Mu'awwal. She was like, okay, what's happening? Is it still a Masdar Mu'awwal? Is it not a Masdar Mu'awwal? So I just wanted to clarify that. When you come across this term, Saddat, Masad, or Sadda, Masad, depending on what it's being referred to, this term normally comes with, remember when we were discussing a while back, we talked about there are certain fi'ls that are muta'addi li maf'ulain. They take two maf'uls. Yeah, like we said, to think. If I said, I thought you were coming. Oh no, maybe not were coming is not the best. I thought you were tall. If I said, I thought you were tall. Okay, so the first maf'ul bihi is you. I thought you. What did I think? That you were tall. So that you were tall is the second maf'ul, right? So those words like hasiba, dhanna, ra'a, there's a whole list. You can confirm back to the textbook and you see these words. So these words, they take on two maf'uls. And normally, these two maf'uls, we expect them. Before we go into any other thing, we say, okay, this is this is that. We have to find the two maf'uls. So here when we saw yahsabuna, hasiba is one of those words. So yahsabuna, we expect two maf'uls. So yahsabuna, there's no maf'ul after this. There's a whole sentence. أنهم يحسنون صنعا. So that's what they're saying, that this sentence, أنهم يحسنون صنعا, سدت مسد. It blocked. Sadda, to block, to stop, or to basically block. So this is what basically stopped the two maf'uls. Now you can no longer expect two maf'uls because the Masdar Mu'awwal has blocked this fi'l يحسبون from having two maf'uls. That's kind of what this whole part is. We talked about ما في حيزها last time. So we're just talking about saddat masadda maf'ulay. So you can see it blocked the two maf'uls of يحسبون. So I just wanted to clarify that. I hope that is clear to everybody in case you come across this term in your reading of tafsir or these books. Hope that's clear.
Sister Ilham?
Yes.
Now, the word harf of nasab, it cannot be always considered as a masdar muawwal, masdar muawwal, right?
Yes. It
So
and whatever comes after it, the inna and its victim, anna and its victim, they're always going to be considered masdar muawwal.
They're always going to be considered, harf of nasab and its victim is always considered as a masdar muawwal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why didn't it say so over here that this is masdar muawwal?
Because
it said it had blocked.
Because they assume you know. So you see when they say وَأَن وَمَا فِي حَيِّزِهَا, we talked about this term. So they're saying and an and whatever it comes with. So whatever its victim is, سدت مسد مفعولي يحسبون. So they won't tell you. Some cases they will tell you. Let me look at another example. They will actually tell you, masdar muawwal. Sometimes they won't say it. So let's look at another example. Let's take a look at, try this. See if they mentioned masdar muawwal. إنما الجملة مستقبلة محل من الفعل المضارع. So in some cases you'll actually find, so you can see here وما مصدرية مؤولة. So you see, it tells you. Some cases it's going to tell you, some cases it won't say. Yeah. So it depends, basically. I don't know why in some cases they won't say, but that's the intended meaning. When you see that, you know that the entire masdar muawwal has basically blocked the two maf'uls from being there. They have taken over from the two maf'uls. So you don't expect two maf'uls because of the masdar muawwal. Yes, Saima.
So like the anna and hayya ziha will be masdar muawwal when it's following a fail, or it will be like even if it's a jumla, if it's a jumla ismiya, then also it will be a masdar muawwal, or only when like after a fail we expect a maf'ul or a fa'il. So we are looking for an ism or a like ism like a maf'ul. So in that case, or like in always, like it's always, or it's only like in certain cases, the inna and its ism acts as a masdar muawwal.
It acts as an ism because that's how grammatically you look at it. And of course, a masdar behaves, it can be anything. It can be a maf'ul bihi fi mahalli nasab, like we talked about. It can have any role. So there's being a role, like having a role, a different role in the sentence, but there's the fact that it's a masdar muawwal. Masdar muawwal basically means that it's acting as a masdar. So it's acting as a masdar, it could be it's acting as a masdar, but it's playing the role of a maf'ul bihi, or it's playing the role of something else, or in the sentence. I hope you can.
Yes, understood.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, so that's just what I wanted to clarify from the previous topic that we had, so that you can understand that term. I hope that's clear. All right, great. So today, inshallah, we're starting Ism Mawsool and its Silah. Okay, so we're going to do a simple summary, and then we'll look at some exercises and see if we can be able to understand a few things. So what is an Ism Mawsool and its Silah? Basically, Ism Mawsool and its Silah is made up of two parts, just like it says Ism Mawsool and its Silah. So you have the Ism Mawsool and you have the Silatul Mawsool, and together they form a compound ism, which plays, again, most roles isms play. Just like the compound ism, the masdar muawwal, plays different roles, you have the ism mawsool and its sila doing the same thing. It's just a long structure that behaves like an ism. So it could have different roles in the sentence, okay? Except for mudaf. It can never be a mudaf. You can never have an ism mawsool and its sila as a mudaf. Okay, it can be a lot of other things, all the other things that we know of. It can never be a mudaf. That's very important. So it can be a fa'il, for example, like the outside doer of something. It can be a maf'ul, like the whole structure, the silatul mawsool, the sila and its, the ism mawsool and its sila can be a maf'ul bihi fi mahalli nasab. It can be a mubtada if it's a jumla ismiya. It can act as a mubtada. It can act as a khabar of a mubtada. So huwa, maybe that's the mubtada, and then you have a ism mawsool and its sila, and we're going to see examples of it. It can act as a sifa of something. You're describing something. And except for ma and man. Ma and man, and we're going to see, like, these are the ism mawsools that they don't act as sifas. But the others, alladhi, alladhani, alladhaini, all those, they act as sifas. So this is an important distinction to know. It can be a mudaf ilayh. We said it cannot be a mudaf, but it can be a mudaf ilayh to something else. And we're going to see how. And then it can also be ism inna. So you can have inna, and then the sila, the ism mawsool and its sila, all of it together can be the ism of inna. So can be the victim of inna. And it can also be majroor. So ajar can come before it, and it can be ism majroor. So it can be attacked by a harf of nasab. It can also be attacked by a harf of jar. So that's important to know. So you see how diverse ism mawsool and its sila is. And it happens a lot in the Quran. It's one of the big topics that you really have to understand because it happens a lot. Some of the big sentences or like fragments in the Quran, you would see it's probably ism mawsool of some kind. So it happens a lot. You can, if you just open the Quran, any page right now, I'm sure you'll find like 3 or 4 ism mawsools in that page alone. So it happens a lot in the Quran. They are mabni. When we say they are mabni, we mean they are non-flexible. So therefore, it's hard to tell the status. Is it rafa? Is it nasab? Is it jar? You can't tell unless you understand the i'rab of the sentence. So you have to ask yourself, what role is it playing? If it's the outside doer, then of course it has to be rafa. If it's a maf'ul bihi, then of course it has to be nasab. If it's a victim of a jar, of maybe ba or ta or kaf or what, one of those letters, then of course it has to be fi mahalli jar. So you understand that you can only know what role it's playing or what i'rab it is, what status it is, once you understand what is happening in the sentence. What role is it playing? Because it will not show you, to not tell you, because it's non-flexible, it's mabni. So alladhi will be alladhi, alladhi, alladhi. Ma will always be ma, ma, ma. Man will always be ma, man, 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 man. You don't have any rafa' nasab version of it, except for alladhani and allatani. The dual forms, they are fully flexible. So alladhani, alladhaini, alladhaini, allatani, allataini, allataini. So these ones are fully flexible. So it will tell you. Rafa, you have the alif to tell you. Alif to tell you. Nasab, you have the ya. Aini, aini. Nasab jar. Aini, aini. So that's a refresher course on the Muslimun chat. I hope that's clear so far. The other thing we need to know about Ism Mawsool is that alladhi is specific. It means I'm talking about a specific thing. So this is the entire chart of Ism Mawsool. These are the Asma'ul Mawsoola. So you have man, ma, sorry. This is for things that are not non-intellectual beings, if you will, like لغير عاقل, non-humans, if you will. So, and then man for human beings, for intellectuals, for intellect beings, something like that. Then you have ayu. I know I'm introducing something here. This we didn't learn in Bayina, but then you have ayu. Mostly comes with whom. In the huwa version, because if it comes in anta version, then it's not really, it doesn't act as an ism mawsool. Ayu is one of those words that we learned as special mudaf. It has a lot of different usages, so it will come up in different instances. So it's important to know how it is playing, what role it's playing. And I think Ustad didn't put it in Ism Mawsool and Silatul Mawsool because it's one of those words that you will only tell what it does when you see what it's attached to. If it's attached to a whom, it could be an Ism Mawsool. If it's attached to something else, it could be doing something else. So it's always a mudaf. Ayu comes always as a mudaf, and what role it plays in the sentence is determined by what it is attached to. What is its mudaf ilay? So the mudaf ilay will tell you what ayu is doing in that sentence. And I don't want to go so much into details about this. This is something perhaps you can learn later. We can make time and discuss more details about ayu. So I'm just giving you a brief idea of ayu. And then of course you have alladhi and the entire chat of alladhi. So alladhi, alladhani, alladhaini, alladhina, allati, allatani, allataini, allawati, allati, allai. These are the three plurals for allati, the female version. Because women are so complicated, they have to get like 3 different versions. Like it wasn't enough. We were like, no, 1 is not enough. We need 3. We're like, okay, fine, you get 3. We're special. Okay, so it happened. I don't know why, but yeah. So then you have, like I was saying, alladhi is specific. So when I use alladhi, I'm referring to a specific item or a specific thing. I'm narrowing it down to something specifically. Okay. Whereas ma and man, they're general, they're ambiguous. I could be referring to anything, not specifically this thing, maybe a genre, maybe an entire species of something. So that's important to know as a distinction, as a balagha benefit, or as a balagha point. Especially in the Quran, when alladhi is used, it's specific. Ma, when it's ma or man, then it's more ambiguous. It could be anything. For example, if I say جاء من أكل الكعك, جاء من أكل الكعك versus جاء الذي أكل الكعك. So when I say جاء من أكل الكعك, whoever ate the cake came. الكعك is cake. So whoever ate the cake came. Whoever. It's ambiguous. Like it could be anybody. But if I say جاء الذي أكل الكعك, the specific one who ate the cake is the one who came. So you see the difference between specific and ambiguous. This is important to differentiate the two. Or if I say هذا ما أكلته, هذا ما أكلته, this is whatever you ate. This is whatever you ate. Versus when I say هذا الذي أكلته, this is the one which you ate. I don't know, it's a weird English, but this is a specific thing that you ate. For example, you ate an apple, and I'm pointing to an apple and I tell you, this is the one that you ate. Whereas if I say هذا ما أكلته, then I'm just pointing to maybe an entire table, like this, all of this is what you ate. Yeah, something like that. So ambiguous versus specific is an important thing to know between alladhi, ma, and man. And of course, the Silatul Mawsool is labeled as لا محل لها من الإعراب. You will see this a lot. There's no grammatical labeling for the Silatul Mawsool. Okay, so that's just how you label the Silatul Mawsool. It doesn't have a grammatical role because it's part of a fragment. It's not a thing on its own. It's part of something. So together they get a grammatical labeling, but on its own it doesn't get any grammatical labeling. Then you have the a'id is a pronoun that links the Ism Mawsool and Silatul Mawsool. The a'id is an important concept to learn in Ism Mawsool and Silatul Mawsool, because when you have, for example, you have alladhi. Let's take the second example. Alladhi akaltahu. Okay, so you have the hu at the end, and a'id is a pronoun that comes back to tell you that we are talking about alladhi. So this hu is referring back to alladhi. So it's connecting the Ism Mawsool to the Silatul Mawsool. Okay, so it's putting everything together. It's like glue. The a'id is like glue. The glue that glues the Ism Mawsool to the Silatul Mawsool. And it has to match with the Ism Mawsool. If it doesn't match, then you have a different meaning that arises from that. And we'll talk about that. So that is important for you to understand that the a'id is a pronoun that connects, that links back to the Ism Mawsool. Okay? So if it's the huwa version, it's going to be the huwa version. If it's the hiya version, it's going to be the hiya version. The antum version is going to be the antum version. Well, not really antum, but yeah, because antum, there's no alladhi Ism Mawsool that is antum version. So any one of this. So we know ma is huwa, man is huwa, ayu because it comes with whom, so it's going to be whom version. الذي is huwa, اللذان is huma, both of them. الذين is hum. So it's always going to be in the third, one of the third persons. So it's either huwa, here, huma, hum, third person, only third person. Okay, so one of those. All right. And of course, the a'id has to match in gender and in number. We've already talked about number. We've said it's going to be the third person. Sorry, no, we've talked about gender. So it's either huwa or here. Number, basically, if it's dual, pair, plural, whatever, it has to match in these two things. Very important. So if alladhi is what we are using, then it has to be who. If it's alladhani, then it's going to be huma over here. So هذا اللذان أكلتهما. If I was to change it to huma version, dual version. And then the thing about the a'id also is that it can be attached. So it can be attached to the Silah al-Mawsool, or it can be detached from the Silah al-Mawsool. Basically, it can be like an independent pronoun. So detached, we mean independent pronoun. Independent. So you remember the notes back in the day. So attached, independent, or it can be an inside pronoun. We know what an inside pronoun is. So alladhi, for example, the inside pronoun is huwa. Or it can be an implied pronoun. And we're going to see what all these different things mean. Up to there, are there any questions? Because we're just doing a summary of what we've learned so far in the program. These are not new concepts. These are things that you're already familiar with. But if there's any pending questions, we can take them before we continue to the a'id. Because the a'id is where the brains freeze. Okay, I see there are not any queries. Alhamdulillah, that's good. So let's look at the a'id. This pronoun that links back to the Ism Mawsool, links back to alladhi, or links back to allati, or links back to alladhani. This pronoun that comes back. What is a'id, of course, means it comes back. So what is it, or what happens with it? So like I said, it can be inside pronoun, it can be attached, it can be detached, or it can be implied. So when it is an inside pronoun, let's take a look at an example in English before we look at the Arabic. So you basically have like two sentences when you're looking at Ism Mawsool and Silah al-Mawsool. So I'm saying he is the one, he ate the cake. So you can see this he matches with this he. So he is the one, he ate the cake. So if I'm to put an Ism Mawsool between these two sentences, it will be he is the one who, now we're adding the Ism Mawsool, who ate the cake. So I don't have to repeat who he ate the cake again. So because in English it doesn't make sense. So I say he is the one who ate the cake. So he is the one, he ate the cake, becomes he is the one who ate the cake. And in Arabic, that would be, the first sentence would be huwa alladhi, he is the one. He ate the cake, akala al-ka'k. So you see these are two separate sentences, because there's a huwa, there's an inside pronoun huwa inside akala. If I just say akala, you all know, you would understand that it means he ate. Huwa akala, he ate. That's what it means, akala. We all understand that. So that there's an inside pronoun inside of akala that matches exactly with alladhi. That means it tells me that there's a match. It's talking about the same person. Huwa alladhi akala al-ka'k. He is the one who ate the cake. That's inside pronoun or inside a'id. Then we have an attached a'id. So there are several cases there are two cases actually in the because in the inside there's always going to be a match. Okay, there's always going to be a match. But in the attached a'id, when the pronoun is outside, it's attached to the Silah al-Mawsool, then either it's going to be a mismatch or it's going to be a match. Okay, so we start with the mismatch. And I started with the mismatch because I wanted you to see how, like, evidently how it looks, like how a mismatch looks. Then it will be easier to see the match. So when we say mismatch, we mean there's a mismatch in number, person, and gender. Like there's one of these things that is a mismatch. It could be all of them, it could be one of them, it could be two of them. So any mismatch in number, person, and gender. And person, we mean like third person, second person, first person. we know that Ism Mawsool is always going to be third person. So if the Aid is not third person, is like second person, or is like, then you know there's automatically a mismatch there. For example, if I say, she is the one, the cake ate her. Okay? The cake ate her. Okay? Did I do this right? Yes. So yeah, so we're talking about she. Yeah. No, this is a match. What did I do here? I think I meant she ate the cake. I think I made a mistake here. Okay. Okay, why am I confused? I'm sorry, guys. It's been a while since I made this note. So she is the one. The cake ate her. She is the one who the cake ate her. هي التي أكلها.
This is actually
Yeah, okay.
Though
Yeah.
akala is there, but it is not talking about the same about her. Though it is
Yeah.
half is there, it's not talking about the same one. That is
Yeah, it's
why
not-
I is there.
Yeah. It's not talking about the same person, because when you look at akala, it's referring to the cake. Yeah, it's not akalat. So if it was akalat, then you know it's referring to her. Yeah, so there's a mismatch in that sense. So you have this pronoun that is attached, but akalathu, this is supposed to be akalathu, not akalatha. Akalahu. Sorry, that was a typo there. Yeah, so in this case it makes sense, because you can see the pronoun al-ka'ku. So you have akala is the verb, is the fi'l madi, akala, huwa akala. But it has an outside dua, which is the cake. Okay, so the cake is the one that is doing akalaha. No, I was right in the beginning. Akalaha al-ka'ku. Yeah, so the inside pronoun in akala is huwa. Okay, so you can see that there's a mismatch. The inside pronoun akala is huwa, and allati is here version. So that's the mismatch we are talking about. Even though this ha goes back to allati. Ha goes back to allati, it's referring to her. But there's a mismatch in the inside pronoun of the verb. So this one refers to al-ka'k. So she is the one who the cake ate her. Okay. So it's a bit confusing there. So that's how a mismatch can happen. Although I think I need to find a better example here. I think this is not the best example. Yes, Taima. Maybe you can help me out.
No, even
I'm not the best example here.
Like, then how we will differentiate between an like akala? It has an inside aid, right?
Yes, which is huwa.
Yeah, and ha is an attached aid. Like if we are seeing in a random like
Yeah.
if like a normal person who doesn't know just the base knowledge of aid. So even ha is looking like an aid, like it's an attached pronoun.
Yeah.
So how we'll differentiate between inside ayat ki the akala this has an inside ayat or it has an attached ayat, and only then if I will be able to differentiate that okay akala has a ayat. If I see at a glance I'll say ha is a ayat. My first go will be ha.
Yeah, it
So I
is.
think, yeah.
Yeah, so like I was saying, this is not the best example. I don't know why I picked it because I really don't know. I thought it would bring out the meaning clearly, but I'm even more confused now. So the thing is, the ha is going back to allati. Okay, it's going back to allati. So that would be the aid. But the what is it? The pronoun inside akala is different than this pronoun. So there's a mismatch between the pronoun inside of the verb and allati. So this ha came back to allati. I just confused myself and a lot more people. Yes, Fauzia. Did I also confuse you?
I was actually looking at the textbook, and the example that they're giving, similar to your example, in which they say, "Hazihi jahannamul lati yukazzibu bihal mujrimun." Here, yukazzibu is the fail. In your case, akala and yukazzibu. Both of them are the huwa fail. But the biha, the ha in this ayat, is the ayat.
Yeah.
And that's matching allati. So in the textbook, they're saying the ha is matching allati, just like in your example. And they're not saying this is a mismatch because of akala.
They're saying it's a match.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
so
don't
I think
talk
I
about
confused
the verb.
myself. Yeah, I think I confused myself here. Like I saw it the minute I was like, what? The cake ha goes back to he. I don't know why. So this is clearly a match, not a mismatch. So, maybe Fauzi, you can find a mismatch there and let's look at that example and then I will edit my notes.
They've just talked about the matches. They haven't spoken about a mismatch yet. I'm still looking.
Oh, really? Okay. Fine. Let's talk about the match. And then when we find a mismatch, we'll talk about a mismatch. Okay. So for example, like that's an example of a match. You have, this is the cake. He ate it. So this is the cake that he ate. So we're talking about the same thing. Okay. So we're talking about the cake and it. هو. They're both هو. So they're matching. هذا الكعك الذي. So الذي goes back to الكعك, which is هو, and there's an inside pronoun which is هو inside there, and then أكل, another هو. Maybe to make it easy, let's make it a she. She ate it. So she ate it. هذا الكعك الذي أكلته. أكلته. Oops. So here أكلت. And you can see the عائد goes back to الذي and it matches exactly. Okay, then let's just use the same example here and make a mismatch. If we say هذا الذي, let me type that really quickly. So هذا الكعك الذي أكلتها. There. Now we made a mismatch. Just like that. So هذا الكعك is هو and الذي is هو. أكلت أكلته. أكلتها. He ate her. That doesn't even make sense. This is the cake that he ate her. Oof. I'm just I'm so confused right now. I don't know. No problem.
Wait. Hold. This is the cake that she ate. And because it's a she in akalat, that's why the ha has to be there, because it's a mismatch with allazi.
Yeah, but what is it referring to? Akalatha. Like doesn't make any. It's not going back to anything.
Cake that yeah, okay.
It's
The
so
example
confusing.
that they've given is سمعت الذي تكلم. I heard the one who spoke.
So you see, there's no I
And
there.
yes, because it matches.
No, it can actually mismatch. سمعت الذي
تكلم.
تكلم.
And the mismatch is سمعت الذي تكلم عنه. Here, I heard what he spoke about. Since it doesn't match the speech, that's why there's a mismatch, and that's why the ayat was introduced.
So, okay, yeah, I think I get it now. Let's use these two examples. I was so confused back then. تكلم الذي تكلم عنه. Okay, let me make this clean a bit. Match and mismatch. Such a headache. Anyway, سمعت الذي تكلم. I heard the one who talked. Okay, so الذي is هو. تكلم is of course the ماضي version, the هو version of تعلم family. So both are هو. There's a match. I had the one who spoke. That was the meaning. سمعت الذي تكلم. I had the one who spoke. But سمعت الذي تكلم عنه. I had the thing that he spoke about. It's not him that I had the thing that he spoke about. So عنه, I'm referring to the thing that he spoke about. That's why it's a mismatch, because this ha is referring to a thing, and the huwa inside here, inside these pronouns, is talking about a person and not a thing. And that's why it's a mismatch, because this ha goes back to alladhi, yes, because that's what I'm talking about. But the huwa inside takallama is talking about a different person. And I think that's why I was a bit confused here about the cake. Actually, my example was just okay, because the ha goes back to allati, but the verb inside here, huwa, is different. Just like the verb inside takallama is different. Yeah, my example was okay. I don't know why I was confused. So that's basically the concept of a'id. So the a'id goes back and matches with the Ism Mawsool, but it could be a mismatch between the Ism Mawsool and the pronoun inside the verb. Inside the verb. That's where the mismatch could be. I don't know if that made it any clearer. I think I need to repeat this concept a bit more. Let me clear everything so that we can all understand. So when we're talking about a'id, a'id is a pronoun that has to match with the Ism Mawsool. It has to match with the Ism Mawsool because that's the thing that is being discussed. Okay, so it has to match. The mismatch can happen with the verb in the Silatul Mawsool. That's where the mismatch happens. So if I say سمعت, I heard الذي تكلم, the one who spoke. So الذي, the inside pronoun here is هو, تكلم, the inside pronoun is هو, and I'm actually speaking about the same person. The one who spoke is the one that I heard. So the one I heard is the one who spoke. Same person. So here there's a match. So we don't need a a'id. So we don't say الذي تكلمه. We don't need a a'id because I'm talking about the same person. But what if I'm talking about something different? If I'm talking about something different, like in the second example, I'm actually talking about a speech. I'm not talking about the person. I'm actually talking about the speech. So سمعت الذي تكلم عنه. That thing عنه, the speech that you talked about, is the one that I had. So I'm talking about a different thing. I'm not talking about the person who made the speech. I'm talking about the speech that the person talked about. So I think that's the difference between match and mismatch. Okay. Same thing when you come to the example that I gave here. Here, التي أكلها الكعك. So التي and her, you have a match. She is the one who the cake ate. Okay, she is the one who the cake ate. I'm talking about her, but it's what am I saying about her? That she was eaten by a cake. Okay, she was the one who was eaten by a cake. I mean, it's a weird example. I think the example in the textbook is a much better, straightforward example. And you can see sometimes the a'id can come on a pronoun, or it can come attached like that directly, or it can come on a jar majroor. I don't know if I made it a bit clearer in this example. Was that a bit clearer, guys? Are you guys still confused? I know this concept is a bit tricky.
It's very tricky. Still, I think I need more review then.
Yeah, I think we need more examples to it. So you just have to understand what is being discussed. And that would tell you, so the a'id will go back to the Ism Mawsool. It will match in gender, in number, and in person. Okay, so it's going to match in all those three things, and it will tell you what is being discussed, what is the subject of discussion, what is being described, because alladhi can also come as a sifa, and we're going to see that. So what is being described here, what is being talked about, that is what it will give you the meaning. So when there's a match, the a'id doesn't have to come. The a'id, it's a match, you know, you don't have to say it. Yeah. But when there's a mismatch, like in this case, what happened? Yeah, when there's a mismatch, like in the second example, then you see the a'id had to come back. You cannot say سمعت الذي تكلم عن. If you just leave it without the anhu, actually that would mean I heard the one who talked about. It doesn't talk about, it's not referring to a speech now, is it? It's still referring to a person. So, but when you bring in the a'id, I heard the thing that you talked about, then now it makes more sense. But if you just say, I think, let me type it. Very complicated topic, this one. But we'll figure it out. I think I'll post more examples in the group so that we can figure out. سمعت الذي تكلم عن. If I just say سمعت الذي تكلم عن, and I don't put the eyes, what this actually means is that I heard the one who talked about. So you can see, in this case, there's a match because the a'id is not there. But if the a'id is there, then it becomes I heard the one who talked about it. I had the thing that he talked about. I had the thing that he talked about. So it can either be the one or the thing, referring to either a person or an object, because like we said, alladhi can be used for both intellectual beings and non-intellectual beings. It's both. So it can either go both ways. Okay. Maybe if we look at some examples, it will become clearer. I don't know. Let's see. And then you have detached a'id. This is where you have like an independent pronoun. Okay. So for example, if I say he is the one, he ate the cake. The one who ate the cake came to me. So this is the example that I'm giving down here. So the one who ate the cake came to me. جاءني الذي. So that's the Ism Mawsool. And then I say huwa. So you have the inside pronoun in alladhi is huwa. And of course you have the independent pronoun. And they match. Because they match, you know, everything is fine. Like we know we are talking about the same person. So جاءني الذي هو أكل الكعك. So basically when they match, we're talking about the same person. When they don't match, we're talking about different things. Okay. Most of the time, common sense would actually help you in determining what is being talked about. So when you see an independent, an outside pronoun like that, you just ask yourself, does it match? And that will be your detached aid. Then you have this concept of implied aid. Is it badal ishtimal? Is that what you're asking? The huwa? You mean the huwa in this case?
No, this whole sentence, like Silatul Mawsool and the complete thing, because he came to me. And then we are more specifying about
No, it's a sifa.
just
No, in this case, sorry, it's a fa'il. So ja'ani, ja'a is huwa version, madi. So we can look for an outside fa'il. So this whole thing, remember we said that Ism Mawsool and Silatul Mawsool can act as a fa'il, a maf'ul, you know, any number of things. It can be a sifa, it can be a number of things. So in this case, it's going to be fi mahalli rafa fa'il. The one who, so you can even see in the translation, we started with the fa'il, the one who ate the cake, then the verb. Normally in translation to English, that's what we do. We start with the fa'il, then we go to the verb, and then whatever else. So that's the outside doer of ja'ani. So it could be a number of things. Yeah. Same thing with this sami'atu. So this would be ana, the fa'il would be ana, and this would be the maf'ul bihi. Who did I hear? Alladhi takallama, the one who spoke, or the thing that he spoke about. So it depends, the roles of it vary in that case. Then you have implied a'id. Implied a'id, this is the a'id that is just understood. Like, it's not said, but we understand that it's there. Mostly comes with muta'alliq bil khabar, or muta'alliq bil khabar most of the time. Like, if you see, for example, if you look at an example, he is the one, he is in the house. Okay, he is the one who is in the house. So this structure, in the house, we know this is fil bayti, it's a muta'alliq, it's a jar majroor. So instead of saying huwa alladhi huwa fil bayt, we omit the huwa and we just say directly huwa alladhi fil bayt. He is the one who is in the house. So we assume it is implied. The huwa is understood, is implied. Okay. So inside aid basically can be a form of implied. In fact, some grammar books don't even have like inside aid. They just have 3 categories. They have attached, detached, and implied. So they consider the inside aid as a form of implied, as a form of this kind of aid. Like you can see they actually match. Yeah. So he is the one, he ate the cake, will be like huwa alladhi akala al-ka'k. We understand that the huwa akala al-ka'k is understood. So we don't have to say huwa alladhi huwa akala al-ka'k. Yeah, I hope that's clear. It's the match mismatch that makes this topic a little bit complicated, but other than that, I think pretty straightforward. Let's look at some examples and we'll see what we can be able to make out of this in these few minutes that we have. We have the first example, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. First of all, can you spot the Ism Mawsool and its Silah?
الذين.
Yeah, so you have الذين, this is our Ism Mawsool. Okay, so that's our Ism Mawsool. And of course, أنعمت عليهم would be our Silatul Mawsool. So that's our fragment there. Now we have to ask ourselves, what role is it playing in the sentence? صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. What do you guys think? What role?
مضاف إليه.
Yes, مضاف إليه. So you have صراط is light no al. So this is going to be a مضاف إليه. We said it can be a مضاف إليه, it cannot be a مضاف. So in this case, it's مضاف إليه to صراط الذين. So you can see how long the مضاف إليه can be sometimes if it's a Silatul Mawsool. Is there a عائد? Yes or no? What do you guys think?
Yeah, the him.
Yes, there is a عائد. You see him, there's an عائد that is attached to على. It's not الذين أنعمت على. It's الذين أنعمت عليهم. And how do we know that this is the عائد? because it matches exactly with alladhina. It's third person, it's hum version, you know, it's masculine, it's matching in everything. So we know that this is the a'id of alladhina. So that would be the a'id. Okay, it matches. And what kind of a a'id is it? What do you guys think? Is it implied? Is it inside? Is it outside? Is it attached?
Attached.
Yeah, so this is an attached a'id. You can see it is attached to ala, which ala comes with an amta. And that is why it was attached there. Now, is it a match or a mismatch?
Match.
So
Mismatch.
the a'id matches, but what about the verb and the ladina? Is that a match or a mismatch?
Mismatch, right?
Mismatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amta.
Yeah, this
Verb
is a
and
mismatch. Exactly. The inside pronoun here is anta. And alladina is whom. So now this is a clear example of actually a mismatch. It's a good example. So you can see that there's a mismatch. And that's why we expect a a'id, and that's why an a'id came back, because it's clearly a mismatch here. And amta is talking about you, but alladina is them. So it's a mismatch. Now again, the ism mawsool, is it specific or ambiguous? What do you think?
specific.
Yes. So alladina is for
Talking about those
specific.
people.
Yeah, specific people. الذين أنعمت عليهم, specific people. Did I talk about restricted and openness?
No, we left
Yes.
that PS
No,
part.
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
we understand it.
You
Okay.
understand it. Okay, good. So basically, when the a'id is there, it restricts it. When the a'id is not there, it's open. That's the difference. So because the a'id is here, then we are going to say this one is restricted. Okay. And again, which makes you like really marvel at how Allah speaks. So when he says الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ, he's talking about a very restricted, specific group of people. It's not just everyone. It's like an elite group of people that you have bestowed a certain mercy on them. Yeah? Because he used الَّذِينَ, which is specific, and he brought in back the a'id, which is also restricting. Like it's specific to these people, not just anybody. It's these people and these people alone. So when we say ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim, every day in salah, we are asking to be a part of an elite, specific group of people. Subhanallah. Isn't that amazing? From the language of the Quran.
So, like for mismatching, we have to look the verb.
Yes. You look at the verb. You look at the pronoun inside the verb, and you look at the pronoun inside of the Ism Mawsool, and you ask yourself, are they matching or not matching? We are not matching the a'id to the Ism Mawsool. This is not a problem. The a'id will always match the Ism Mawsool. Always. It's the thing that connects the Ism Mawsool to the Silatul Mawsool, so it has the Ism Mawsool.
This mismatch part is a tricky one.
Very tricky. What you're saying about checking the verb, that's one part of it. The other part was also looking at, oi, Gandhi. Oh, she's starting.
Sorry. I don't know what happened. The mismatch made my computer crash. It just closed.
It's making your mind also crash.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
But anyway, about the match and the mismatch. So here's the thing. The a'id will always match the Ism Mawsool, right? So if it's alladina that is the Ism Mawsool, the a'id has to be hum version. If it is allati, it has to be here version. If it is alla'i, it has to be hunna version. That has to always match. The a'id will always match the Ism Mawsool. Why? Because the a'id is the thing that connects back to the Ism Mawsool. So it has to match. So when we're looking about match and mismatch, we're not talking about the a'id. We're talking about the verb in the Silatul Mawsool and the Ism Mawsool. That's the match mismatch that we're talking about. So if there's a match between the verb in the Silatul Mawsool and the Ism Mawsool, then we don't expect a a'id. The a'id doesn't have to come because already there's a match. So we don't need the a'id again to come back and prove to us that it's a match. There's already a match. But if there's a mismatch, like the pronoun inside the verb is different from the Ism Mawsool, then we need the a'id to come back to reassure us that no, we're actually not talking about this person in an'amta. We are still talking about alladhina. So those are the ones we're talking about. We're not talking about you and amta. We're talking about those who, and the a'id is there to tell us that. So I think I don't know if that clarifies it.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Now it has become very clear because yeah, actually that was only my confusion that it always matches. Then I was like, how it is mismatched? Like Alladina and whom it is number, gender, everything is same.
Yeah.
So it has to be a pronoun inside a verb. Okay, for example, if there is not a verb after Ism Mawsool, if it's an okay, it's okay. We don't go to random questions. When it will come, I'll ask that question.
Okay, good.
It's coming next. It's coming next.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Okay. If it comes, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, but you see, okay, when we talk about, so unless maybe you're talking about ma, something that is not referring to people. But if it's something, alladhina will always refer to people. Alladhi doesn't have to refer to people. But alladhina is always going to be people or intellect. So it depends with the Ism Mawsool, like is it referring to people or not? Then that's where you can wonder if, anyway, we'll see if it comes along. I kind of understand where you're coming from, but we'll see. So let's look at the second example. So مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا. So what is the Ism Mawsool?
Mudaf
Mudaf.
Yes. Yeah. So that's our Silatul Mawsool. So again, another mudaf ilayh. So ka is harf jar. That's why mathali is majroor. But mathal is also light no al. So that's our mudaf. And this is going to be a mudaf ilayh. So the whole thing is also a mudaf ilayh. What was this? Is there a'id or not?
No.
Yeah, so in this case, so actually this is kind of like a wrong question to ask because a'id is always going to be there. Remember,
Inside.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
So it's always going to be there. Always. So it's just a matter of, is it implied? Is it in? Is it out? Is it attached? So this is where it matters. And in this case, of course, it's inside. So you can see, yeah, that the pronoun inside huwa, inside alladhi is huwa. Istawqada, this is istaghfara family. So istawqada like istaghfara. So huwa istaghfara, huwa istawqada. So this again is huwa. So there's a match. And because there's a match, then we don't really need a'id to come back. We can say that the a'id is already inside istawqada. And we're done. So
we can also say implied.
Sorry?
We can also say implied.
Yes, you can actually say implied because actually there's some grammarians who don't consider like inside as a category. They just said implied. So that's why I said, it's either you can see inside pronoun as implied, like it's understood. Yeah. So inside or implied.
Once it matches, then there's no question about specificity or restricted and openness if it matches. Oh no, it will be there because it's allazi, so it's the one.
Allazi
so it will be
comes
specific.
in specific, yeah. But restricted and openness, that one is not there because now there's a match. Because we're talking about, we know exactly what you're talking about is already specific. So there's no openness that is created.
Okay, so there are two things. One is specific and ambiguous, and the second thing is restricted and openness.
Yes, there are two things. Specific and ambiguous has to do with the Ism Mawsool itself. If it's alladhi, it's specific. Yeah, if it's ma or man, it's ambiguous. But restricted has to do with the a'id. Did the a'id come back? Did we expect the a'id, first of all? And if we expected it, did it come back? So if it came back, then it's restricted. If it didn't come back, then now it's open. So yeah, so this has to do with a'id. This has to do with the Ism Mawsool. Okay. So obviously here, because it's inside, then it's a match. And here we can say it's specific, but the discussion about restricted or openness doesn't really matter because we don't expect a'id. because it's a match.
It's a match. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, we can just do this one. Maybe we, if you allow me, we can take maybe another, I don't know, 5-10 minutes just to do a couple more examples so that.
Sure. Yes.
Please.
Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. So هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. Okay, so obviously الذي here is the Ism Mawsool, and the whole thing is going to be
the khabar.
Yes, beautiful. So this is going to be our khabar, because we have huwa is a mubtada. There's nothing that comes before it is the first rafa. So that's going to be our mubtada. It's proper. And whatever comes after it is going to be our khabar. The whole silatul mawsool is a khabar. Now, الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. Is there a'id? Of course, yes, we said a'id is always there. But what kind of a'id is it?
You can't see it. It's inside.
Implied.
Implied.
Yeah, implied or inside.
Yeah, exactly.
خلق is huwa and الذي is huwa.
Exactly. So here's huwa, here's huwa. And why is it lakum? Why lakum is not the a'id? Because lakum doesn't match alladhi. Kum is antum, right? So somebody might be like, oh, but there's an attached pronoun here. Not all attached pronouns are a'id, like we've seen.
Yeah.
So that's important to know. Okay. And of course here we can say this is a match. And because it's alladhi, that's going to be specific. And the discussion of restricted or openness doesn't really matter because it's a match. We don't expect a'id to come back in a sense. And then we have the next example. فَبَدَّلَ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا قَوْلًا غَيْرَ الَّذِي قِيلَ لَهُمْ. So here we have two Ism Mawsools. So we'll start with the first one and see what we're dealing with here. So الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا.
It's like a maf'ul bihi. فبدل. So it's
File.
Fa'il.
Oh, it's a file? Okay.
Yeah, so بدل is فعل ماضي. It's the هو version. بدل like علم. علم يعلم. بدل يبدل. And because it's the هو version, we have to ask ourselves, okay, so who's doing the action? And then you see الذين ظلموا. Oh, so they are the ones who changed.
They are the
So
ones.
basically,
Okay.
yeah.
So any Ism Mawsool coming after huwa or hiya verb would definitely be file then. Because
Not definitely, but you ask yourself, like, could they be the ones doing the file? Because it's not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's mabni. So you ask yourself, could they be the file? And if they could, then yeah, it is them. Because here you cannot say he is the one, like baddala means he changed. So he changed the ones who, it doesn't make sense. He changed them. No, in this case, it doesn't. They're the ones who changed qawlan, the word. Yeah. So you can see the maf'ul bihi actually came a bit later. There. So this is the fa'il. The first one, and of course this part, yes. Now what kind of a'id is it?
Implied or inside.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it's implied or inside.
Matches.
It matches. And again, because it's a ladina, it's specific. So we're talking about a specific group of people again. Allah is being very specific. He's saying these specific people who changed the speech or the word. Yeah, not everyone. This is important to know. So let's look at the second one. غير الذي قيل لهم.
Mudaf ilayh.
Yes. So غير, of course, is a special mudaf. When you see غير anywhere, special mudaf. So whatever comes after it, it's going to be the mudaf ilayh. So الذي here, it's a mudaf ilayh. And of course, here it's yes. What is the pronoun? Outside, is it attached? So الذي and قيل.
Inside or implied.
Implied or
Same
implied.
thing. Yeah, because it's
Because
both
the hum
full
doesn't
version.
match the allazi.
Yes,
can't be
exactly.
That.
Exactly. And of course, this is a match. And again, الذين
Specific.
specific. Okay, I think
Oh, this-
الذي and الذين.
So there's this example, like it's a non-human. It's talking about non-human. Alladhi.
Yeah, in this case, الذي. So it's a qawlan. It's going back. It's going back to qawlan. So قولا is what is being described. غير الذي is with the sifa of قولا. So this whole thing would be the sifa. And of course, this is مضاف مضاف إليه. Yeah, so you can see this is going back to something that is not human. Yeah. I want to do now, I think الذي الذين is a bit clearer. I want to do either a man or a min. Oh, it's the next one actually. No, it's الذين still. الذي. So yeah, there's a lot of الذي in the Quran. Like it's الذي الذين.
This
So
one.
much.
من ذا الذي يشفع.
Yes, this one. Let's do this one. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So, of course, no, this is still الذي. This man
This is
man is
this man.
istifham. This
Oh,
man
this
is
oh.
question word. Yeah. So
Okay.
again, there are three. Yeah, there are three kinds of man. So when you see a man, you have to ask yourself, what kind of man is it? Is it man istifham, man of question? Is it man mawsoola? Is it man? Is it the man that I'm looking for, or is it man shartiya? We'll talk about shartiya maybe next week, inshallah. So yeah. So but in this case, it's a question. So that doesn't apply. Let me see. إن جعلنا ما على الأرض. We can do this one. So of course, ma is a ism mawsool, and of course, whatever comes after it, that's going to be a silatul mawsool. Ma على الأرض would be a silatul mawsool. Yes. So this is our جعلنا.
مفعول به, right?
Yes, this is the مفعول به. Because we made what? We made the and again, جعل is one of those fi'als that takes two مفعول بهs.
مفعولين.
Yes, مفعولين. So that was going to be our first مفعول, and زينة would be our second مفعول. Just for our own purposes of understanding. Of course, here the answer is yes. What kind of a a'id is it?
It's implied. You can't see it.
Yeah. I was also going to get the same way because I can't see any pronoun of mine.
Exactly. So here it's like huwa. There's a huwa in there that is missing. So ma huwa ala al-ard. But then the huwa is assumed, is implied, it's known. Actually, yeah, let's just go with implied in this case. Because inside, we know what it means. Like it's not inside. Inside, it's implied. It's not even there. Exactly. And then, what was this other question? Is it a match or a mismatch?
Jala is huwa.
No, Jala is na.
Oh, Jalna.
But we're not looking at this one. We're looking at ma and whatever comes after it.
Oh yeah, allazi. Okay, we were seeing the verb after allazi, so ma and after.
Yeah.
But then, like,
then there's a ha way at the end over there.
But remember with implied, what is missing? There's a pronoun before it that is missing. Yeah, there's an aid that is implied. So we are the sentence. The sentence is actually supposed to be
ha.
Ma huwa ala al-ard. Whatever is on the earth.
Huwa there. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. So with implied, it's always gonna match. You will never like have an implied pronoun that doesn't match. It's not possible. So it's always going to be a match. Yeah.
I think I was stuck with the. When you're telling us, it makes really great sense. But if you didn't tell me this, I would look further and I would find laha after, and then I would say, oh, ardi is here. Arab said so. So the ha would go back to ma, and because ma is open, so then.
But remember, the pronoun inside ma is always huwa.
It's always huwa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it will. Okay.
Yeah. So the pronoun there is huwa, and of course this ha actually refers back to back to the ha, the earth. Or it could actually go back to zina, or it could I don't know. that we need to like see what I yeah, but so remember when it comes with implied, when it's an implied pronoun, there's always going to be a match because we assume there was a pronoun after it that matches it that was just assumed because there's no need of repeating the same pronoun. Ma huwa. Huwa is in ma, and then again you say huwa, like it's just redundancy. So they got rid of that redundancy and said, you know what, no need to repeat the same thing. So ma ala al-ard. Ma huwa ala al-ard became ma ala al-ard. And of course here ma is actually ambiguous because we said ma is ambiguous and alladhi and its family is specific. So there's a match. We don't expect a aid. So there's no discussion of restricted or openness needed.
The same thing goes for man also. That ma, it
Same
always
thing
has
with
ma.
man.
Okay.
Yes, same thing with man.
If the aid is repeated, that's for emphasis then.
If the ma is what?
If the aid like ma huwa two times, so that is for emphasis.
Yes.
If it comes.
Yes, if it comes, that would be for emphasis. Yes, definitely. Yeah, like ma huwa ala al-ard or ma huwa fil ard. Like there's an emphasis that is being said there. I'm gonna skip allati because allati is kind of like alladhi, so same thing.
Go to yati man yasha'u.
Okay, yes, let's do this. Yahdi man yasha'u. So we haven't done man. So of course, man is our Ism Mawsool and yasha'u it would our Silatul Mawsool. Again, it's important to know where the Silatul Mawsool ends so that you can be able to do the i'rab properly. Because you can say, okay, does it end? Where does it end? Man yasha'u ila siratil mustaqim? No, it doesn't make sense. Ila siratil mustaqim, it goes back to Yahdi. Yahdi ila siratil mustaqim, man yasha'u. Something like that.
Man yasha'u could be the file because yati is mudare hua.
No, I think it's maful.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep getting this mixed up.
So yeah.
He guides whoever he wishes. Yeah.
Yeah. So the huwa inside Yahdi is referring back to Allah. Of course, this we're using now common sense. Otherwise, your meaning would have also worked. Like, because if we didn't know that Yahdi, Allah is the only one who guides, if we didn't know this knowledge, then we would say, yeah, possibly. Like, that could also make sense. But because we know that in our fundamental beliefs in Islam, Allah is the only one capable of guiding, then we say, okay, he's the one who guides. So the huwa inside Yahdi is Allah, and then man yasha'u is whoever wants. Actually, Ustad has talked about this.
Yeah,
and I said there are two meanings. So it could be what you're saying, and like it could go both ways. So man yasha'u, it could be whoever wants, and it could also be whoever he wants. So if we say whoever he wants, then that's a match. That's a match. But if we say whoever wants, then that could be a mismatch. It could be like whoever wants to be guided. Yeah, so it could go both ways, this one, depending on how you look at it, which actually adds. And yeah, this is the case. If we say it's a mismatch, then we expect a aid, but there's no aid, you see? So it adds more layers.
That could also mean that if there's no aid for openness.
Yes.
Whoever he wants.
Yes, whoever he wants and whoever may want. No, obviously now if we say it's a mismatch, it's going to be whoever wants. Now it's going to be referred to anybody that wants guidance because it's going to be a mismatch.
How it is a mismatch?
Okay, let's take it step by step. So let's take the first meaning. Let's take the first meaning is that Yahdi is referring to Allah. Man yasha'u is referring to Allah. So there's a match. It's both huwa, same person, same entity. So there's a match. Yeah. So we'll say, what were we writing here?
Can you write?
Yahdi. So this would be a fa'il.
Whoever he wants. Yeah.
So the first instant is where that he is a fa'il. So he guides. He guides whoever he wants. Match. He, same person, same entity. And in that case, man yasha'u is a fa'il. Okay, say outside dua.
Won't it be maful in matching में? Yahdi Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides. Man yasha'u, whoever he wants. So man
Oh.
yasha'u, what it will be maful in this
Maf'ul
case?
bihi in this case.
Yes, maf'ul bihi, sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. Don't know why I got confused there. So maf'ul bihi. So that's the possibility number 1. Okay. Possibility number 2 is he guides whoever wants, i.e. whoever wants to be guided, i.e. me and you. Like if you want to be guided by Allah, Allah will guide you. The first one is Allah is the one who is guiding whoever he wants, whoever Allah wants, not whoever wants to be guided. Yeah, so that's the first possibility. And in the first possibility, because there's a match, here it's yes, here we can say it's inside, and of course it's a match, and because it's man, it's ambiguous. Yeah, of course. So that will be done. We will be done in that sense. Because it's a match, we don't talk about restricted and openness. But if we come to the second possibility, where we are saying, look, he guides whoever wants to be guided. Man yasha'u. Now we are saying this man is a different person. It's not the same as Allah. It's a different entity. And therefore, in that case, it's going to be a mismatch. Going to be a mismatch
I think
here.
first wala was this thing.
Sorry? Did I?
No, that makes sense to me. What you just said.
Could you repeat?
In the second one, it's a file, and the whoever wants to be guided is any person, and the he in Yahdi is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's yeah. Simon, did you get it?
I'll think over it, and if I'll think over it, and again I'll ask the question. I'll not waste time right now. I'll think over it, and I'll come back if I'll have a question.
Can you guys
It is
hear
just
me?
the two of us. Let's clear it.
So my doubt is, in first case, he guides. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may yasha'u, whoever he. So in first case, yasha'u is also referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes. Yes,
No,
we can hear you now.
can't.
No, we can't hear you. Sorry.
We
Oh, what
can't.
happened? Oh
Oh,
my
we
God.
can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yes,
Yeah.
now,
Oh,
now,
good.
now.
I don't know what happened. Subhanallah, today is just madness. Because I'm hearing you, but you couldn't hear me, so I don't know. It was just crazy. Anyway, so this second possibility, we're talking about two different people. It's still huwa and huwa, but the first huwa is referring to Allah. The second huwa is referring to me or you. Is referring to a different person. So it's a mismatch in that sense. Yeah.
Yes.
And because it's a
Yes.
mismatch, it's still huwa. Both of them is huwa. So sometimes you can have huwa, but it's not talking about the same thing. Like I can say, he is the writer of the book. The book is huwa, he is huwa, but it's different things. Same thing here. The first huwa is Allah. The second huwa is me. Whoever, if I want to be guided, Allah will guide me. So two different huwas. And because of that, those two different huwas, can you still hear me, guys?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
good.
we can hear.
Okay, yeah, and because of those two different huwas, then we can actually say that there's a mismatch. And because we can say that there's a mismatch, it's ambiguous, we can say that we expect a'id, man yasha'uhu, whoever wants it. We expect the a'id to come back, but the a'id did not come back. That means there's an openness here, and which creates like whoever, it doesn't matter who you are, how many sins you have done, what you have believed in, whatever you have done, it's open to everybody. If you just want to be guided by Allah, whoever may want to be guided by Allah. And that's the beauty. Yeah, amazing. That was great. Guys, I really need to go now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post this.
Benju's over for us also.
Yes, yes.
It's been a lot.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
Even
post
though we
this
know
in the
all of
group.
this. Yes, please.
Yeah, and then you guys can look at the different ayahs. If you have any questions, you can ask in the group, inshallah, and we can take a look. I'm sorry, in the beginning I was a bit confused. I mean, the match mismatch can really get to you if you don't think about it. So I was doubting my own example.
Please
No
don't do
worries.
this.
Yeah, thank you for your
Oh.
time and efforts. Jazakallah
Thank
khair.
you to you guys for encouraging me and, yeah, making this possible. May Allah bless you guys.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah, with a new
Inshallah.
topic. We're doing compound sifa tomorrow, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
إياكم جزاكم الله خيرا.